The slave market on planet Zarnix was loud, hot, and full of strange smells. Hundreds of buyers shouted over each other, throwing credits into the air to claim the best slaves. Tall warriors, smart engineers, even beautiful dancers, all were. Sold quickly, next one. The auction master roared, pulling open another cage. A strong alien male stepped forward, muscles shining under the sun. He was sold in seconds. Another cage opened, a four-armed cook. Sold in less than a minute, one. By one, the cages were emptied. The crowd cheered, clapped, and laughed. It was like a festival of cruelty, but then, silence. Only one cage was left. Inside sat a small, thin alien girl. She looked dirty, weak, and scared. Her skin was pale purple, and her eyes were large and sad. Her legs shook, and she held her arms tightly around her chest, as if trying to hide from the world. A sign was hung on her cage. Damaged. Worthless. Do not return. The auction master cleared his throat. Final item. 1 credit or less. A throwaway. The crowd laughed. She can't even stand. Looks broken. Maybe a pet for my dog. The girl didn't react. She didn't even lift her head. She had learned that showing emotion only brought pain. The auction master kicked the cage. Anyone? Going once, going twice. I'll take her, a voice said. The laughter stopped. All heads turned toward the back of the market. Tall figure walked slowly toward the cage. He wore simple armor and a dark coat. His skin was light brown, and his face had scars. He looked like a soldier, but not from any known alien race. He was human. The first human anyone had seen in this market. The auction master blinked. You want this one? You serious? The human nodded. Yes. Why? She's useless. That's what you think, the human said calmly, eyes locked on the girl. He placed 1 credit in the auction master's hand. The lowest price possible. Take her then, the master said, shaking his head. Hope you like trash. The human walked to the cage and knelt down. The girl flinched and curled up tighter. I'm not here to hurt you, he said softly. You're free now. She didn't understand. No one had ever spoken kindly to her. Not once. He opened the cage door slowly, still. She didn't move. So he took off his coat and placed it gently around her shoulders. It's okay. You can come with me. The crowd watched in silence as the human helped her up. Her legs were weak. She could barely walk. So he lifted her into his arms. No one said a word. As he carried her out of the market, a child in the crowd whispered, "Why would he take the broken one?" His mother replied, "Humans are strange. Maybe he sees something we don't." That night, in a small room on the edge of the city, the human laid her on a soft bed. He gave her water and a small bowl of warm food. She stared at the bowl but didn't eat. You're safe now, he said. No one will hurt you here. Still, she didn't speak. He didn't force her. Instead, he sat nearby and watched the stars through the window. Time passed. Slowly, she reached for the food and ate in tiny bites. Then, without a word, she curled under the blanket and closed her eyes. She had never slept on something soft before. She didn't know this kind of warmth. She didn't understand why this human was kind to her. Was it a trick? Would he change tomorrow? Her last thought before sleep took her was simple but heavy. Why did he choose me? Back in the market, the auction master lit a cigar and looked at the empty cages. Stupid human, he muttered. Bought the one thing that wasn't worth selling. But he didn't know the truth. No one did. Not yet. That the worthless girl he gave away would change everything. The first thing she noticed was silence. No screams. No chains. No commands shouted into her ears. Just silence. And the slow, steady sound of breathing. Not hers. Someone else's. She opened her eyes. She was lying on something soft. A bed? She didn't remember beds. Only cold floors and metal cages. Her fingers touched the blanket that covered her. It was warm. Too warm. Her body to ENCD. Was this a dream? A trap? A new kind of punishment? She turned her head slowly. The human, the one who bought her, sat in a chair nearby. Eyes closed, arms crossed. But not asleep. He was watching over her. She froze, waiting for his first order. Get up. Clean. The floor. Serve me. But the words never came. Instead, his voice was quiet. Calm. You're awake. She didn't answer. You don't have to be scared. Still no answer. He stood up slowly and walked into another room. She heard water running. The sound made her heart race. In the past, water meant pain ice buckets or worse. But when he returned, he was holding something else, a towel. And warm, clean water in a bowl. He sat beside her and dipped the towel in. Then he held it up. May I? He asked. She looked at him in confusion. No one ever asked her anything. They just did what they wanted. Her body flinched as he reached forward, but he didn't touch her. He waited, slowly, very slowly. She nodded. He wiped her face first, gently, then her arms. Her skin was dry, covered in dust and old bruises. He didn't ask about them, didn't call her ugly, didn't look disgusted. He just cleaned her. When he finished, he said, "There's more food if you want it." She didn't move. Not hungry? He asked. She didn't answer. It's okay. You don't have to eat now. He stood up again, calm as always. I'll be in the next room if you need me. She watched him walk away. No cage, no lock, no screaming. Just freedom? She looked at her hands. They were shaking. What is this place? Why is he being kind? Later that night, her stomach growled. She waited. No punishment came. So she got up slowly, using the wall for balance, and walked to the next room. She saw a small table. On it, a warm meal sat untouched. And beside it, a note. She couldn't read the words, but she recognized the shape of her own name. Written carefully in the corner, he had written it, for her. She sat down and began to eat. The food was soft. Nothing burned her mouth. No strange chemicals. Just soup and bread. She ate every bite. When she was done, she looked around. The human was asleep on the floor, using his coat as a pillow. She stared at him. She didn't understand. No one had ever treated her like this. Like she mattered. She walked over and knelt beside him. Her voice came out dry, small, almost broken. Why? He opened one eye. Why are you nice to me? He blinked. Then sat up. I don't need a reason, he said. Tears filled her eyes. She didn't cry. She had forgotten how, but this feeling, this strange feeling in her chest, maybe it was hope. I don't know your name, he said. She hesitated. They never gave me one, she whispered. He nodded. Then you'll need a new one. She looked up at him, eyes wide. He smiled. Just a little. How about Sira? She opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. Sira. She whispered. It was the first time she had heard her own name, a real name. A kind one, not slave, not thing, not trash. Sira. She hugged herself tightly and backed away, curling into a corner. Her body was still afraid. But something inside her had changed, just a little. Back in the city, the auction master sat with a drink in his hand. Dumb human, he laughed. Bought the worst one. But far from the city, in a quiet home under the stars, the girl he called worthless whispered her name to herself again and again. Sira, I'm Sira. And for the first time in her life, she smiled. She screamed in her sleep, a sharp, raw sound like glass breaking inside her chest. The human rushed into the room, heart pounding. Sira sat up, breath fast, hands shaking. Her eyes were wide with fear. Hey, he said gently, kneeling beside the bed. It's okay, you're safe, just a dream. But it wasn't just a dream. She was still there in that place. Cold hands grabbing her, loud voices, shadows moving around her. That dark room, that pain, that name she hated. She didn't speak. She just shook her head again and again. He reached out to touch her shoulder, but stopped. Do you want to talk about it? Silence. He sat back, giving her space. The room was quiet, except for her slow, shaky breaths. I don't remember. My dreams, she whispered after a long pause. Only the pain. The human didn't speak. He just listened. Sira pulled her knees to her chest. Her voice was low, almost too quiet to hear. They tied me to a chair every day. They said I wasn't useful, that I was born broken. They wanted to throw me away. Who did? He asked softly. I don't know what they were called. Big ones with silver armor. No faces, they put needles in me. Wires, machines. Her eyes were wet now, but the tears didn't fall. She had forgotten how to cry. They tested things on me, she whispered. Said they were fixing me. Did they ever? Stop. Sira shook her head. Only when I stopped talking. When I stopped looking at them, they said I was worthless then, so they sold me. And sold me again, and again. She looked at her own arms, covered in faded scars. Every master after that said the same thing. She's broken. Send her back. The human's fists were clenched now. But his voice stayed calm. You were never broken, Sira. They were just too blind to see what you are. What am I? He looked at her, a survivor. The next day, Sira sat near the window, staring outside. It was a strange feeling seeing the world and not being afraid of it. She saw children running, laughing. She had never done that. Not once. She saw families eating together in quiet peace. She didn't even know what a family felt like. The human sat beside her, placing a small object on the table. A holoscanner. I want to check something, he said. Sira pulled away. It won't hurt, he promised. I think those people who experimented on you left something behind. She looked at him with wide eyes. You mean I still have it inside me? He nodded. Maybe, but I'll help you understand it. You deserve to know what they did. Slowly. She gave a nod. He moved the scanner across her back. A soft light flashed green, then yellow, then red. He frowned. What is it? She asked. There's something inside your nervous system. A device, but it's old, alien tech. Hidden well. She looked down. They said I was dangerous. No, he said. They were scared of you. Sira's eyes trembled. Scared of me? He nodded. I think they tried to shut off something in you. Something powerful. They failed. She sat quietly for a long moment, then asked, why would they do that? He gave a sad smile. Because sometimes when people find something they don't understand, they try to destroy it. That night, Sira lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The memories came in pieces now, not just pain, but tiny flashes. One of the silver-armored one shouting. She activated it. Shut her down. Another voice. No one can control it. She's too young. Terminate the test. And then darkness. She sat up suddenly. A low hum rang in her ears. Her hands were glowing faint blue, lines dancing across her skin. She gasped and covered them, but the glow didn't stop. She rushed to the other room. Human, something's wrong. He woke up fast and saw her hands. Don't panic, he said, moving quickly to her side. It's starting. Whatever they tried to hide, it's waking up. Sira stepped back, afraid. What if I hurt you? You won't, he said, calm and sure. But what if they come back? Her voice cracked. He looked into her glowing eyes. Then we'll be ready. Far away, in a dark ship floating above the planet, an alarm started blinking. Signal detected. Subject 317. Activated. One of the silver-armored creatures turned to the others. She's alive. Another growled. And now, she's dangerous. Asterisk. The doorbell did not ring. It exploded. The front wall of the small home shattered into smoke and sparks. Wood splinters flew through the air like arrows. The human leapt up, grabbed Sira, and pulled her to the ground just before a red-hot bolt sliced across the room. 3 dark figures stepped through the smoke, silver armor. No faces, no voices, but Sira remembered them, even in silence, even in shadow. She knew those monsters. Her whole body froze. They found me. The human rolled across the floor, pulling a hidden weapon from under the couch. He fired once blue energy, slammed into one of the armored attackers. It stumbled but didn't fall. Another bolt shot toward Sira. The human grabbed a metal panel from the floor and blocked it just in time. It rang like a bell. "Run, Sira!" He shouted, but she didn't run. She was still staring at the silver shapes. Her hands were glowing again, bright this time. Wild and shaking with energy. The air around her began to crackle. Outside, people screamed and scattered. The peaceful neighborhood had turned into a war zone in seconds. The sky above turned red. Strange ship hovered silently above the house. No weapons, just watching. Inside, the human fired again, dodging another blast. The attackers moved without emotion, without fear. "Sira," he yelled again. "Move." But she was still frozen, until she heard them speak. "Subject 317, return now. You are property of Sector X." That voice, cold, mechanical, the same voice from her dreams. Her nightmares. She dropped to her knees, holding her head. "No," she whispered. "I'm not yours. Not anymore." But they stepped closer. "You are activated. You will obey." Something broke inside her. She screamed, not in fear this time, but in fury. Her body glowed, every vein shining with strange light. Her hands lit up like fire, not burning red, but glowing blue-white. The windows shattered as power surged from her body. The silver-armored attackers stopped in their tracks. The closest one lifted his weapon, and it melted in his hands. Sira rose slowly to her feet, eyes glowing bright as stars. "You called me broken," she whispered. The floor cracked under her feet. "You tried to erase me." The ceiling groaned. "But I remember now." She lifted her hand and pushed. A shockwave burst from her palm. The armored creatures flew backward, smashing through the wall, landing hard on the street. She stepped outside, barefoot, still glowing. The ship above turned to flee. She raised her hand again, and the ship blinked out of the sky in a flash of blue light. Gone. Just like that. The human stood behind her, speechless. He had never seen power like this. But what shocked him more was the look on her face. Not anger, not pride, but sadness. She turned to him, eyes dimming. "I didn't mean to do all of that," she said quietly. "You saved us," he said. "You saved yourself." She looked down at her hands. "What am I?" "You're Sira," he said. "That's enough for me." Later, they packed quickly. The house was gone. Their quiet life was over. They moved toward the hills, away from city eyes, away from watching satellites. The human had friends who could help, people who didn't fear different, people who understood danger and power and how to use it for good. Sira walked beside him in silence. Finally she said, "I thought I was afraid of them." "You were," he replied, "but I'm more afraid of me." He looked at her, then placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "Then we learned control, together." Far in deep space, on a dark station floating beyond known stars, a commander watched. The scene again and again, a broken slave girl, destroying one of their ships with a single thought. "She's awake," the commander growled. "The experiment lives." A voice from the shadows replied, "Should we prepare the fleet?" The commander turned slowly, red eyes glowing in the dark. "No," he said. "We send her creator." The first time Sira chose to stand her ground was not in battle. It was in front of a mirror. She stared at her reflection, a girl with short, tangled hair, scars across her arms, eyes too tired for her age, and glowing lines beneath her skin faint. But alive, for the first time she didn't look away. And not broken, she whispered to the mirror. Behind her, the human nodded. Double quotes, no, you're not. They had taken shelter in an old bunker deep in the hills. Cold walls, dusty floors. But hidden, safe. Mostly. The human had old gear, training bots, defense systems, even a shielded scanner to block tracking signals. It was here I began to learn how to move with purpose. How to breathe through fear, how to aim, how to control the strange power inside her. When she focused, her hands sparked. When she got scared, they exploded. She had to learn the difference. I'm not a weapon, she said once, frustrated. No, the human replied. You're more than that. You just need to decide what you want to be. She thought about that for days. Then, one morning, it came. A signal. A coded message pushed through the scanner's shield. The human caught it first. He played it on a small screen. A voice, robotic, calm. Sira, we do not want to destroy you. We want to fix you. Her blood went cold. Return to us, obey, and we will stop hunting you. A pause. If you do not, others will suffer. The screen showed footage of a nearby town. Civilians, markets, families. Sira's hands shook. No, it's a threat, the human said. They're using fear again, but they'll do it, she said. They always do. Then we stop them first. They didn't wait. That same night they traveled through the forest in silence. The human wore armor again. Sira wore none but didn't need it. Her skin had changed, stronger, tougher, like something waking up inside her. They reached the town. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Sira closed her eyes and listened, not with ears, with something else. And she felt it. Cold signals, movement underground. Shadows in the walls. They're already here, she said. The human raised his weapon. Then let's make them wish they weren't. They attacked first. The silver-armored soldiers burst out of hidden tunnels, expecting weak targets. But this time Sira didn't freeze. She ran toward them. They fired. She raised her hands. Their weapons melted mid-air. One of them rushed forward, blade in hand. Sira stopped him with a single thought. His armor cracked. His knees hit the ground. The human covered her from behind, taking out those she missed. They moved like a team, like fire and wind. One attacker managed to grab a child, holding a blaster to her head. Back off, the soldier shouted. Sir, Akea stared at him. No fear in her eyes. She didn't blink. She didn't yell. She just raised one finger. The blaster turned into smoke in the soldier's hand. His helmet split open. He fell. The child ran free. The people in the town started cheering. They had heard of her, the girl the slavers called worthless. Now they saw the truth. After the battle, Sira stood in the middle of the street. Smoke drifted in the wind. The attackers were gone or running. She looked down at her hands. They no longer shook. She turned to the human. They're afraid of me now. He smiled. No, they're afraid of what you'll become. She nodded. Then I'm not running anymore. Far away, in deep space, the commander watched the battle through a black screen. His metal fingers clenched. She's learning faster than expected. Another voice whispered beside him. Shall I send more? No, she will only grow stronger if we push too hard. Then what, sir? The commander's eyes glowed red. Send her the one she forgot, the one who built her. Asterisk, the package came without a sound. No knock, no messenger. Just a black cube sitting quietly at their door. The human found it first. No markings, no code, no signal. Only one word appeared when he touched it. Sira. He called her over. She stood still, staring at the cube like it was a ghost. Her hands tingled, without thinking. She reached out and the cube unfolded itself, piece by piece. Like metal petals blooming in reverse. Inside was a small device. And a voice. Hello, Sira. It was not robotic, not cold. It was soft, calm, male. She knew that voice. Her knees gave out. She fell, breath catching in her chest. I remember that voice, she said. He used to sing. The human knelt beside her. Who is he? I don't know, she whispered. But he's the only one who was kind. Before everything went dark. The message continued. If you're hearing this, then you're alive. That means you've survived what they did to you. I tried to stop them, Sira. I built you to be more than their weapon. I made you to feel, to choose, to be free. The human leaned closer. His eyes narrowed. They will call you a project, a mistake, a failure. But I called you daughter. Sira covered her mouth. I wasn't born? She asked softly. The device responded. You were created, but not like them wanted. You were made with soul, heart. That's why they feared you. The human sat in silence. Sira's eyes filled with tears she thought she no longer had. Then, why did they leave me behind? Because they couldn't control you, the voice answered. Because you had something they didn't understand. Choice. That night, she didn't speak much. She sat alone under the stars, watching them in silence. Not lost, not broken, just thinking. The human sat nearby, quietly waiting. Finally she spoke. I wasn't meant to be sold, or chained, or thrown away. No, he said. I was made to be something more. He nodded. You still can be. She turned to him. I want to find the place where I came from. Are you ready for that? She didn't answer at first thought, then she stood, her glowing hands calm and steady. I'm ready to know who I really am. They traveled off-world. For the first time, the human had contacts old allies who owed him favors. They gave them a ship. Small, fast, and hidden from tracking tech. Sira piloted it like she had done it before. Deep muscle memory. Her fingers knew controls. Her mind didn't remember. The coordinates from the cube led them to a silent moon near a dead star. No life. Signals. No cities, but underground. There was something else. They landed. Beneath the surface, they found it. A forgotten lab. Covered in dust. Machines asleep for decades, and at its center, a chamber marked with glowing letters, 317 SIRA. She walked toward it slowly. Her hand touched the panel. The door opened. Inside was a chair, a pod, and hundreds of holographic memories waiting to be seen. She stepped in, and suddenly, her memories came rushing back. Not pain, not cages, but light, laughter, a voice calling her name as she learned to walk. She saw her creator, tall, gentle, smiling, teaching her to paint, to read, to laugh. They had a life. Before the soldiers came, before everything changed. Stepped out of the chamber. The human was waiting. She didn't speak at first. Just walked up to him and hugged him tightly. He held her back. Who were you? He asked. She smiled. I was someone's daughter. Then her voice became firm, strong. And now, I will be someone's justice. Far away, the commander watched her activate the lab. He stood slowly. Bring the fleets. The experiment remembers. Another officer asked, do we attack? The commander stared at the glowing image of Sira. No, he said. We prepare to kneel or fall. She walked into the slave market. Not in chains, but in light. The same place where they once laughed at her. The same cage still stood empty, rusted, forgotten. And now, all eyes turned as she returned. Not as property, not as prey, but as power. SIRA. The girl they called worthless. The human walked beside her, silent, ready. Behind them, a small army. Former slaves, runaways, free people. And they all followed her. The sky above turned dark, not from storm clouds, but from ships. Her enemies had arrived, the ones who created her, the ones who hunted her, the ones who tried to erase her. Their fleet hovered like vultures above the city. Speakers blared across the market square. Sira 317, you are to surrender. Kneel and we will spare this world. Sira stepped forward. Her voice echoed through the silence. You had your chance to fix what you broke. Now watch what I become. The battle started like thunder. Ships fell from the sky as blue lights exploded in the clouds. Soldiers in silver armor dropped into the city. But the people didn't run. They stood behind Sira, because she wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for everyone who had ever been called useless, broken, less. She rose into the air, her body glowing like a star reborn. With a single motion, she stopped a ship mid-flight. With a single word, she gave courage to hundreds. Stand with me. And they did. The human fought by her side, as always, his eyes never leaving her. He had saved her once, not with power, but with kindness. Now she was saving the galaxy and taking him with her. Together, they moved through the streets like wind and fire. She melted weapons with a look. He defended the weak with steady hands. They reached the command core, where the enemy's strongest waited, and there he stood. The commander, tall, cold, armor glowing red. You were a mistake, he said. Sira stepped forward, unshaken. I was a miracle. You just didn't see it. You are alone. She smiled. No, I was alone. Now I'm everything you couldn't control. The final fight shook the sky. The commander struck with deadly force, his armor charged with old energy. Sira didn't dodge. She absorbed it. She had learned, grown, changed. His power only made her stronger. With a single burst of light, she shattered his armor, his red eyes flickering in fear for the first time. He fell to one knee. You were never meant to win, he gasped. And yet, she said, raising her hand, I did. The final blast came from her heart, not her hands. It wasn't hate. It was truth, and the truth ended him. After the smoke cleared, silence returned. But this time, it wasn't cold. It was peace. Sira stood in the middle of the square. No chains. No fear. People came forward, some bowing, some crying. One child walked up and held her hand. You saved us, the child whispered. Sira knelt down. No, she said softly. You saved me, just by believing I could be more. Days later, they tore down the slave cages. The market became a garden, and the story of Sira, the girl once called worthless, spread across stars. Her name became a signal, a hope, a flame. She didn't take a crown. She didn't want a throne. She only wanted freedom for all. And beside her always the human who once spent just one credit and gave her a future. In the stars above, a new signal pulsed through space. We are not broken. We are rising. And they did.